Another beautiful song. Just thank you. I now call upon Audrey Modell to share her memories of the day and how the events of that day impacted her family.
Thank you. Everyone seems to remember where they were and what they were doing on 9/11/01. It was the most beautiful morning, not a cloud in the sky. I was at work, and someone called me over to their desk and said, "Look at this." This is worth it. Sorry. She had on her computer a news station, and on her screen, I saw a plane hit the North Tower of the World Trade Center. I quietly went back to my desk, gathered my things. I didn't speak to anyone. I just left. I knew that my brother was gone. I had to find my parents and be with them when they found out. It was a nightmare for my family. But I don't want to dwell on the horror of that day here now. I found this quote: "When our time on the earth is done, money or material things will not matter, but the love and time and kindness that we have given to others will shine and live on forever." I believe my brother's memory lives on because of the kind of person he was. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to tell you about my brother today. When I talk about my memories, it helps to ease the pain of my loss, a loss that will never go away. May 17th, 1951, my mother gave birth, not to the sister Susie that I wanted, but to a baby boy named Richard. He was the cutest, chubbiest, happiest baby, but he was still my younger brother and a real pain in my ass. He only wanted to be with me. Not only playing with my things, he wanted to play with my friends too. He was so on top of me, never giving me my space. One day I was cutting something out for school, and of course I can't believe my mother let me cut with sharp scissors. And he was right there as I cut, and somehow the scissor wound up puncturing the side of his nose. To this day, I'm not exactly sure how it happened. Did I do it purposely, or was he just too close? When I teased him incessantly, and he eventually learned to retaliate with maneuvers he learned by watching the Three Stooges on TV. He did become my ally, though, when it came to food. I was the pickiest eater, and he loved everything. When my parents weren't looking, I put my food on that I didn't want on his plate, and he just loved it. As much as we fought, and as much as I teased him, be warned, I was fiercely protective. No one could do anything to him or be mean to him as long as I was around. I always had his back, and as he grew older, he always had mine. He became my good friend and my confidant. When I think back, I only lived full-time with him for 14 years. I went off to college and life. I married young and had my first child at 22. My brother adored my daughters, and they adored him. He spent countless hours playing with them and giving them so much love and attention. Richard was so full of life and enjoyed doing so many things. In fact, before he married, my older daughter called him a man kid. She thought, well, he's a man, but he isn't married yet, so he's still a kid. And he always was a kid at heart. Life wasn't always kind to my brother, but his attitude was always positive. He and his wife were a wonderful team, and they lived life to the fullest. He was a loving, kind, thoughtful husband, father, son, brother, uncle, and friend. He was always there for me and my parents and his friends. We all always could count on him. May of 2001, my baby brother turned 50, and his wife made him a fabulous party. I was asked to speak, and I gave a funny and touching speech full of the love that I had for him. But I did tell him, though, that now that he was 50, he had to tell people that he was the older sibling. My brother Richard was so happy at that party, not only because he was celebrating with his family and friends, but also because he had just started a new job as Vice President of Finance at Cantor Fitzgerald and the World Trade Center. Who could possibly imagine what lied ahead? Who knew I would be speaking again a few months later about my brother to eulogize him? I think back to those days right after 9/11 and remember how everyone came together as Americans, so different from the divisiveness of today. To quote Sandy Dahl, wife of the pilot of flight number 93, if we learn nothing else from the tragedy, we learn life is short and there is no time for hate. The days following the attack are pretty much a blur for me, but I do remember the kindness and love shown to our family by everyone. I remember my brother's New York City friends putting up photos of him all over the city and going to hospitals hoping to find him. I have a quote from the former Secretary of State, John Kerry. "It was the worst day we have ever seen, but it brought out the best in all of us." I think back to those 4 months after his party and before 9/11. I wish I had spent more time with my brother. I wish I had hugged him and kissed him more. I wish I had told him that I loved him. I'm usually not one to believe in signs from above, but my youngest grandson was born 10 days early on 9/11 of 2005. I believe that my brother helped to orchestrate this. He wanted the family to have some joy on that day. Life can change in the blink of an eye. My message today: remember to call your loved ones. See them as much as you can. Hug and kiss them, and most of all, tell them you love them. I leave you with this final thought from former President Obama. Even the smallest act of service, the simplest act of kindness, is a way to honor those we lost, a way to reclaim that spirit of unity that followed 9/11. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, to honor America and pay our utmost respect to those lost on 9/11, join me as we listen to the magnificent chamber music performance by Kaleidoscope.